it was the first thing in my life that I ever did that was really difficult, and I did it from start to finish. And it made me feel good. I was like, I did something finally, man. Prior to that, the only thing I could ever do from start to finish were sentences.
You've tuned in to the Beyond Hope podcast, your access to success strategies and more to help you survive and thrive through your loved one's addiction challenges while you move onward and upward with your life. Now, here's your host, Shar Jones.
And I want to thank you for taking time to spend some time with me today and just tell you that I respect you and I appreciate you out there doing your work. And with that, I just want to give you the opportunity to just kind of share your story and talk about whatever comes from your heart, I guess.
Oh, man. I'm speechless. You just never know who, how people are going to cross paths in this time of, internet. And, I've never met you, but I feel a connection, to you as well. And it was through art. I think that's like a universal language. And I had some of the other things that, were some of my, trials and tribulations, like addiction and not being in recovery. And it just turned out to be a beautiful message, a beautiful relationship. We've never met, but yet, we feel like we've known each other for forever. So a little bit about myself. What can I say, man? I was a knucklehead from a very young age. I didn't want to listen to nobody. I thought I had everything figured out. My upbringing wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't the worst either. I'm not going to blame, that my dad didn't have a dad, or that he was an alcoholic. There's tons of kids who come from worse homes with no fathers, and turned out to be, good individuals, man. I just think that I had a little loose screws somewhere, and at a very young age, I steered off towards just wanting to get away with things, lying and cheating, stealing. And I don't think that my parents knew how to correct me well. They were poor and they were just busy, doing the things that parents do when, they try and, put, roof over, my head and feed me and, give me the best that they can. We're migrants. I was born in Cuba. I was raised in Dade County. I first did drugs at 11 years old. I dipped and dabbed with drinking alcohol at a very young age, younger than that. But at 11, I was, started smoking marijuana, drinking a little bit more than normal. Probably got drunk, wasted. I had to be carried home by one of my friends' grandfather with my bike in his trunk and dropped off at my house at the age of 12. That was my first alcoholic, blackout, drunk experience. I thought I told myself I'll never do that again. After that, I graduated to bigger things. I'm not going to say better because there was nothing better about it. And I was introduced to crack cocaine at about the age of 13, which was 1983, 1984. And everything went downhill after that. All bets were off. Any chance, any opportunity with sports, martial arts, things that I was actually good at, they just poof, got away from me. That's where a life of institutions became, that vicious cycle for me, man. In and out of juvenile programs, in and out of treatment, adolescent treatment centers, because I was still a minor. parents just didn't know what to do with me. Mom begging the judge, not to let me out of detention center or to send me to a long-term juvenile program. Um, all the chaos associated with addiction. And imagine being a teenager. I was a little bit uncontrollable. My family decided to move to West Palm Beach in the late 80s. I think it was 89, 88. It was 88. And man, that, like everybody else, everybody's looking for a fresh start somewhere, whether it's going through the divorce or, stop using drugs, go to treatment in another state, get away from the madness, etc. It worked for a little bit, but, I brought Manny with Manny. And, my mindset hadn't really changed much. And I found myself getting in some trouble here at a very young age, man. I think I was, 17. I was arrested. I stayed in, courts and in county jail all the way till I was 18. And then I was finally sentenced, multiple counties here in Palm Beach and Broward area, had consecutive sentences. And I did a total of 11 and a half years from the age of 17 till I was 28. And it's, I don't know how I would have survived that length of time if it wasn't for this hidden gift that God bestowed upon me that I didn't even know I really had, because I doodled as a kid. But that's all I did. I doodled. But I felt the connection with art. And, while in prison, I just started drawing a lot. You do 11 and a half years and you do something every day for that length of time, you ain't got no choice but to get good at it. And I got good at art, I wish that I could tell you that I got out and continued, in this path, with art but that wasn't the case. I got arrested in 89, got out in 2000, and, art went out the door, and I continued to get high and use drugs all the way to 2012. Through only God's grace, I wasn't arrested again and sent back to prison, because plenty of times I thought that would even be a better outcome for my life compared to the life that I was living out here in a free society. Later on, I learned that freedom is not a place or a thing. Freedom is a state of mind. I've got friends who are serving life sentences that were more free than some people out here in free society. And I wanted that freedom from state of mind. And, January 16, 2012, I made a conscious decision, man. I mean, a real conscious decision, because I made some decisions before, wanted to stop and not use anymore and change my life. And, the obsession came, life showed up. And what did Manny do? Through the gloves, I quit. This last time, it wasn't just a decision, but a conscious one. It was one that would catapult me to where I am today. Not that I'm all that in a bag of chips, but, I've learned a little bit about freedom. My mindset has changed. And I'm living out my dream.
Sorry about that. Yeah. Oh my gosh, your story just touches my heart. I told you I was going to be emotional. You are just a blessing. And I am just truly, truly just super grateful that we did this today, right here, right now. It was just so important. I want to hear about your art. I want to hear about FOREEL Recovery, hear about what that's about. And let's talk about what's happening for you now.
Right now I'm actually working on this piece right here. It's called Broken Crayon Still Colors.
I saw that online and it's freaking beautiful.
I'm a little bit behind schedule, but I'll tighten up. Start off with FOREEL, man. Me and my friends decided to do something. I had this crazy idea with 5 months clean to do a documentary, and those who heard me share my story before, know about the story, right? So you can imagine, grown man, 40 years old, sleeping on my mom's couch, no car. And I tell people I want to film and produce a documentary. I laugh at it still, because I could just picture, people, what they were thinking. And, some of them called me crazy. Some of them told me go sit down somewhere. Some of them told me go call my sponsor. Some of them just straight up laughed at me. But you know what? I took all that and it was fuel. I did the documentary. It was four of us. So that's how the name FOREEL came about. And, after we did the documentary and, I put in some hard work, everybody kind of faded away. And, I had beautiful results from doing this film. It opened up a lot of opportunities. And it wasn't no longer for. It was just, for real. And, I thought about it and, I took the four out, just the FOR. And what is the one thing that, hip, urban, young people, middle-aged people say when you tell them an unbelievable story? For real? And that name was catchy. And, I wanted to share a message that will be unbelievable, that people will have to say, like, for real? And it stuck, I fueled it, for throughout all these years. We went on to produce 7 documentaries up to now, working on my 8th. All of them have been inspirational films. People don't think I'm crazy anymore. I find it still funnier, because that first film it was the first thing in my life that I ever did that was really difficult. And I did it from start to finish. And it made me feel good. I was like, I did something finally, man. Prior to that, the only thing I could ever do from start to finish were sentences, and this kind of like, gave me a lift. And I continued on. And, I just like to inspire people. And then I created this logo, which is the brushstroke with the film box, and, got more creative throughout the years. And, one of the things that's always been our mission and in the forefront of everything we do is to always make sure we give back to the community, whether it's through art, through our fundraising events, collaborating with other nonprofits. And I think that's been the key to my success, man, that I've, as an individual and, the team that I created, man, we don't think of ourselves, man. And, we may not have much, but we're always giving. The art's not mine to keep. I ain't got enough walls. I mean, you can see some behind me. I ain't got enough walls to keep my art. And, I'm blessed to have a great job. I love what I do. I work in treatment. An outreach coordinator for Aon Health Group. So with my art, even though I'm attached to some of them, I can, let it go if I have to for a good cause. And, that was the beginning of FOREEL. So what else you wanted to know?
I love the name. So catchy. I love it. And I have seen some of your work. I've seen some of your documentary. I've seen some of your live events auctioning off your art, and you're so genuine, and you're Manny all day, every day, right? I mean, you're just so true to who you are, which I think is incredibly difficult for some people. And I want to talk about your book, but I also want to just sidestep a little bit. So in thinking about personally, my daughter, if you don't mind. So I think about her journey and some of the incredible art that she's created, and that just blows my mind, that she's created through various highs. And watching her suffer to try to create art in a sober world, and it's paralyzing for her. She keeps trying and she keeps trying, but part of me feels like that is the missing piece with her recovery. She just doesn't know how to kind of tap into that. And I would just ask you for some advice, because I'm sure most of the addicts I've met, and I hate to generalize and just, but there's the creativity piece is it's so powerful. And when there's that block that happens, what would you say to that?
I've heard people have struggled creating art once they come into recovery and get clean or sober. For me, the struggle was connecting art while not in an institution. Because I tried painting high, and for me, it didn't work out well. I think it's something that you have to be in tune. So I associated art with prison, county jail, rehabs, detoxes, but I couldn't really associate it with, me. I probably, thought about it while I was in prison one day, how nice would it be to have my work in a gallery, but, that wasn't going to be a reality at that time. The artist has, there's a crossroads in their personal life when they come, when they're tired of addiction, alcoholism, or whatever it is, or whatever struggle they're going through. And I wasn't a very talkative person, but my outlet was the canvas, the coloring pencils, and similar to that conscious decision. A lot of times I didn't feel like painting or drawing. Just because I'm an artist don't mean that every day I want to paint. I've been working on this piece 4 or 5 months. But when the connection comes and you really start to, see your process and your growth in your piece, and you start to fall in love with that process and your art, it'll capture you. And that's when, you go from drawing 30 minutes to losing track of time and staying for 8-10 hours nonstop, which has happened to me in the past. I haven't drawn more than 2 hours at a time in years. I think it's just that, I'm in a different stage in my life. I've got more responsibilities. An early recovery of painting would take me, 150 hour, 180 hour canvas would take me 30 days. That same painting today would take me 4 or 5 months. What my suggestion is, the surrounding, the element that she may be in, inspiring her with art supplies. I became kind of like, gave me art supplies. It was like giving me drugs. I loved it, man. And thankfully I had men in my life, man, that would do that for me, because when I first got into recovery, I didn't have money to buy my own art supplies. And I felt inspired. I remember the first painting I gave away. It was titled Never Alone. Beautiful piece, one of my favorite ones. And I gave it away at a convention. Inspire her or other artists to take their artwork into raising awareness for fundraising for kid organizations, homeless people. And when you see what other what their artwork can do for humanity, it will give them a new sense of purpose and meaning to their art. That really inspired me. It was at that moment when I gave that painting away and they asked me to talk about it. I had 6 months clean. I've never shared at a meeting, and now I'm sharing in front of 300-400 people. Still sleeping in my mom's couch. Still didn't have a car. Still didn't have a valid ID or a license. But none of that mattered. That I found my purpose. I really do believe that I've got one of my close friends, Mark Sanchez, that's still my brother today, and we always talk about that moment. That was what. That's when I felt, and I knew that I was on to something, and that this art didn't just start now. It started when I was in prison, and that God had a plan and a purpose for me. I just needed to be still, sit my ass down somewhere, and allow Him to use me. And when that happened, so maybe she needs, to see what am I doing with this art besides just a pretty picture? Can I use?
That's powerful.
Can it be used to inspire? Can it be used to raise awareness? Can I help an organization raise funding with it?
I think you're spot on. That is really powerful, and it's kind of like the missing piece that I've been trying to resolve, I guess, within myself to try to support her. And I definitely do gift her the art supplies and those things, but her ability to sit still and be with herself is difficult.
I know. Any addict, man, is tough, challenging for them in that early process to be still. Man, listen, get her a real nice speaker and, tell her, listen, play music, here's some art supplies, that was a big connection, man. I was inspired by songs. Music really, manifested with my art together, and it was beautiful. I was inspired by so many songs, different, types of music. Tupac, Rearview Mirror, Simple Man by Leonard Skinner.
Yes.
That song. I got a Jack. I got a painting that's a Jack of Hearts. He's, the Jack is the underdog of all the face cards. He's the lowest. Some people, they fold with a Jack. The Jack likes to give up. Well, he's a son of a king, and he's a very simple man. And I did this Jack of Hearts, and in that painting, I wrote in there simple and Jack of Hearts. There's no height to a Jack. Everybody wants to be an ace. Everybody wants to be a king. I want to be a simple man. I'll take a Jack, man.
Oh man.
But the Jack's an infantry warrior. A lot of people that don't know that or don't know the history of face cards. King, Jack, Queen, Ace.
That's cool. I'm smiling so big right now. That's cool. That's good stuff. Really good stuff.
Art supplies, man, and get her involved with some organizations that could use some help, the Art of Recovery, man, was 2 addicts. I don't know if you know about that organization.
But talk about it.
Yeah, that's the sister company of FOREEL Recovery. That was created by 2 addicts. Me and my brother, Big James, he's a photographer. I'm a visual artist. We came together one day and said, man, how cool would it be for people like ourselves, to display our artwork, to give other people who are suffering from mental health addiction, who got all these gifts bottled up, writers, poets, artists, photographers, singers, a platform. What do you think that would do to their soul in this process of trying to find purpose in life? I'll tell you what it did. Vic's got 5 years clean, and one of my roommates, he's got 2 years clean. He came out of treatment, got involved with he's an artist too. And this was his second year, at our exhibit film festival. Man, I got the best life ever. Now that I think about it, man. But yeah, and now every year it's like, we got, more artists, new artists, repeat artists, and it's taking a form in itself. You don't know what you're capable of or what you can do till you try, man. Like, you really give it an honest shot. And I would love to meet your daughter and talk to her, and one day, and possibly just inspire her, man, to be a part of the art of recovery, and tap into that gift, man. But that's what it is. And the devil tries to hold it from us, man. He really does.
Oh my gosh. I'm just lit up, seriously. So I want to give you an opportunity to talk about your book, Manny.
Oh man.
You're talking to a struggling writer over here too. So
you're a writer, bro.
Yeah, talk to me.
Oh man. So, Revolution to Revelations. Started
Wait, let me see that cover.
Yeah.
That is fucking beautiful. Sorry.
It's actually the two best I've ever taken in my recovery. And, I got a buddy of mine, Manny Mendez. He's my graphic designer. He grabbed the picture of me. The first picture was a picture of me walking into the railroad tracks. And then he grabbed the second picture of me overlooking a sunset, and he combined them both.
Wow.
The revolution is me in the tracks.
Yeah.
The revelation is me, with sunrise at my feet, God speaking to me. That's the revelation. So it's not, as an artist, is every picture.
Manny, that's beautiful.
And yeah, man, this was a dream. One thing I've learned, a lot of people always, especially addicts, man, in recovery, man, we dreamers, man. I always say, man, I got a story, man. I should write a book. Should, could, would, if. And I came into recovery and I had, 43 felonies, man. I got no resume. I started to build that slowly but surely with my films, film festivals, getting some certifications here and there. And why not add published authors? And but I started writing this book 12 years ago in my darkest moments, just like my art, man. I started painting in prison. I started writing this book actually in detox, one of my detox stays. And the first chapter is called Die Trying. Yeah, this has been a long dream of mine, as like I said earlier, man. Everybody's got a story to tell, and I hear so many people, say that they should write a book, and should is not an action word. I wrote this book at 6 years clean. I reached a point in my recovery where I kept putting this off and off and off and off and procrastinated. And I had 2 binders of just writings and poems and drawings that I did while I was in rehab at the Drug Abuse Foundation, at the Lord's Place. These were all nonprofit places that helped addicts, homeless people, detox as well. And I just grabbed all those notes, and one day I said, okay, I need to make some sacrifices here, which meant, I couldn't paint like I wanted to. I couldn't, do other activities, like maybe go hang out after a meeting or go to a meeting. And I took like 60 days to really just focus on grabbing all that material and narrowing it down, to a story that I felt would, capture people, man. They say we think that you write a book from the beginning to the end, and it's not like that. You write a book from the end to the beginning, because I wanted to write the book when I didn't have an ending. All I did then was journal, just write. I had to have an ending, and it's just an ending to a book. Obviously, it's not the ending of my story. I plan to write more. And I also try to do it in a way that it told a visual story, because I know us people who struggle with substance use disorder, we hear things, but we forget what we hear. But if you give me a picture and you show it to me, that will register with me, because I've never been diagnosed with anything, but I can't retain information. But if you show me a picture, I'm going to put that picture to your face, and I'm going to remember what you said. So it's visual as well. There's a lot of stories. First chapter, I think I mentioned it earlier, it's called Die Trying. Tombstone with a needle and a crack pipe and an NA emblem. A lot of poetry. One of my favorites, The Dove and the Butterfly. You asked me to read you an excerpt from here. I'll let it be this one. I used in one of my documentaries. The dove is the man, and the butterfly is the women, all in recovery. And the rose is the struggling addict. So just remember that. The dove is the man, butterfly are the women, and the rose is the struggling addict. The dove and the butterfly, they both flew inspired with faith and hope. Then they met a rose. It sat still, but not by will. It wanted to fly alongside the dove and the butterfly. The rose, frustrated and watery-eyed, told the dove and the butterfly, I have no hope or faith. I only have dreams that I could fly. An angel spoke and said to the rose, cry no more. You're full of love. Mr. Dove and Mrs. Butterfly will pick you up. And with their hope and faith, you will share your love. So the rose rose with the dove and the butterfly. The angel watched and said, faith and hope never look better now that they met love. The rose that wanted to fly. That's one of the early recovery poems. It still touches me, man. Because I was that strong.
Well, it definitely touched me. Oh my gosh, Manny. It's beautiful.
I wanted to fly, man, and I ain't had nobody to pick me up for many years until I came to 12-step fellowship. All right, let's stop, man.
Man, we're both going to be need tissue. Manny, this is so beautiful. It's so beautiful when there's a connection that's so authentic and patient. And I feel like that's what this was. Just super grateful. And I just feel so blessed right now.
In the most
your presence.
Times of this year, craziest of times, I didn't know if I wanted to do it today. I know you had a rough day today. And here we are. We're so glad that we did this. But yes, this book is my legacy with my art. There's another very important piece. It's titled Believe. One of my favorite.
I've seen that piece. That's beautiful.
And I dedicated this book to the man who lifted me up, man, who taught me how to fly. And I went from Die Trying to the last picture in the book. They would have thought I would have never done this.
So cool. She's beautiful. I think we're frozen again. Are we frozen? Can you hear me okay?
My motivation.
Wow.
Was that? Yeah.
She must be so proud of you.
She wasn't a part of my life for many years because of the way I lived. And even after I got clean, my ex-wife, didn't want me to still be, involved in her life, because I've tried getting clean before. And fast forward, my daughter's 18 now. She lives with me. So kind of like
Funny how things work out, huh?
Single dad, I couldn't even take care of myself. Now I support her, my dog. God is good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring us home, Manny. Let's. This has been so sweet and so good, and I hope we have more conversations with less technical difficulties. But how do you want to close our conversation? I could keep talking to you for hours. I just want to.
I want to be able to just tell anybody. I am part of a recovering community. From a substance use disorder. But I know we all got our own struggles, man, whether it be addiction or loving somebody who's an alcoholic or an addict or, just not finding purpose in life or, having everything in the world and not feeling completely full. What I would tell them is, find what it is that fills you. And I'm not talking about you can't go to the mall and get this. It has to be something that has to have some soul searching involved. I know it's difficult at times. Life tends to pull us in 10 different directions that don't lead us nowhere. Can my story inspire somebody? I would hope so. Some of the things I did early in my recovery and even till today are still very uncomfortable. I have to make myself vulnerable. I just bought a guitar. I don't know what I'm thinking midlife. But push yourself. Don't shortchange yourself. You owe yourself. Find out what it is you want to give yourself and then give it to yourself. For me, it was recovery because that's the greatest gift that I could only give myself or that I can give to those who love me and cared about me that are, huge part of my life today. They never lost hope, man, for me. And that's what I would, tell anybody looking to do something different with their lives. I don't know why God chose somebody with 43 felonies, a life of jails and institutions, to have what I have today. Let me tell you something. I got friends with 8 years college degree. Don't live the life I live. It goes to show. Shar, man, I can't thank you enough, man.
Just know that I'm over here rooting for you and sending you love and blessings all day. I'm just super grateful for you, and I hope to stay connected.
I'll be sharing a link on, Facebook, Manny Mendez, where people can go and order the book. I just got, this is the last one I got. I'm getting a new order this weekend. You can see what we do at the Auto Recovery Facebook page.
I'm definitely going to get a copy of that book. Maybe you'll sign it for me.
Say no more. I can't thank you enough.
I'm honored to share your voice. And so, yeah, absolutely. And just know that I've got moms that are listening, and I'm just grateful to them for being here with us today, and just sending you so much love.
Thank you as well, Mom. Okay.
Okay. Talk to you soon. You take care. Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning in and for helping me to connect with other moms of addicts or loved ones who are struggling with addiction in their lives. If you have questions for me, comments, suggestions on future show content, or perhaps there's a specific topic that you would like to hear from an expert in the field, I would love to hear from you. I am also interested in sharing your voice. So if you have messages of hope or personal stories that you think would resonate with our listeners, please send me an email. You can type me out a message, or you can include an attachment to an audio clip with your voice. You can send that to Shar at beyondhoperadio.com. And with that, thank you again, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to Beyond Hope. For show notes and more, head on over to beyondhoperadio.com.
A huge thank you to recoveryinnovators.com and James Healy. Thank you so much for putting up with me and for helping me to produce and launch the show. I couldn't have done it without you. You're so awesome. And to anybody else who has been considering working with James, highly recommend him. Please go over to his website and check it out, recoveryinnovators.com.